talk to us about comprehension and just some ways that we could use that in our own classroom. Now, this could go from not just reading, because I know a lot of us think that reading comprehension is the only way to teach that, through language arts and reading, but we can do that through science, history, social studies, really any subject area. So I want you to really think about what you can take away from this. I know, Mr. Tucker, you teach a lot of math, so think about what you can take away from this, if you can, what you can use in your own classroom for this kind of stuff. So by the end of the session, I want you to have a better understanding of what comprehension is and what it is not, and then to have some activities to bring back to your own classroom. Alright, so I want you to, with your table, and I'm going to group you guys later, but with your table, just who you have right now, I want you to just talk about what is reading. So just go ahead. I'll give you about 45 seconds to a minute. Just talk to your table about what is reading. As a teacher, what do you think reading is?
As a subject, you mean?
In general, what is
just
reading?
in general.
Reading specialist.
What is reading?
To turn print into words and to sound out words and then make meaning. So,
Make a connection.
Reading and math would be understanding numbers.
Right. A connection between what is written and what the knowledge is.
Mm-hmm. What the, what's already in there?
What the written word actually means. Processing.
Alright.
Whether it be numbers.
So what did we come up with? Just shout out some ideas. What is reading? What did your table come up with?
Communication.
Communication.
Making sense of printed words.
Okay.
And pictures.
And
Or
pictures,
numbers.
especially in kindergarten.
Gathering information.
Yep. Okay, so I'll just show you just some of the stuff that we came up with when we were at the presentation last month. We said some of the same things. Comprehension, decoding, fluency, fun. It's fundamental. It's important. Okay, now think about it real quick. Change your perspective. Think about it from the student's eyes. What do you think the students would say if you ask them what is reading? So just pretend you're a student. Talk to the group again. What is reading? When you ask a
Some would
student.
say fun.
Sounding out.
Some would say hard. Some would say, I hate it.
Alright, what do you think? Go ahead. Shout it out.
Hard.
Hard.
Fun.
Fun?
Some.
Yeah, some of them.
Readers.
Your good readers will probably say it's fun.
Hard,
Hard,
boring.
boring. Yeah, that's pretty much what we came up with as well. We said hard, boring, words. Reading is words. Okay, yeah, it's a good start. So what we came up with, or what they shared with us at the presentation, is that reading is a lot of phonics and word recognition. Okay, so you have your vocabulary development, which we work on in each grade level. Okay, I know I've observed Miss Davis, and I know that she goes through her vocabulary words each week, or each unit that she has, and they play games with that, and they do a good job working on vocabulary, but that's something that you do in each grade level. The comprehension part is what we're really going to focus on today, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. And I know that phonological awareness is like a huge thing that we work on in kindergarten. Each day we have a phonological awareness piece in our daily routine for reading, and that's a lot of beginning sounds, middle, ending, blending, segmenting, and that's a daily thing that we do whole group for 15, 20 minutes at least. But the comprehension part is kind of where it falls apart for a lot of us, I think, because, well, I won't get too far ahead, but we'll talk about that right now, actually. So what is comprehension? From the student mindset, again, think as a student, what is comprehension if you ask your kids?
Answering questions.
Answering questions.
Remembering what you read.
Yeah.
Is that pretty much the general
Understanding what you read.
Okay.
That might be from our
Right,
perspective,
right.
not
From the
theirs.
student, I think we nailed it.
Filling out a
Yeah.
worksheet.
You can answer questions about what you read.
Who,
Yeah.
what, when, where.
And again, and we said in our presentation, summarizing. That might be something that they could shout out. But real comprehension has to do with thinking, learning, and expanding a reader's knowledge. Okay? So we're gonna take a break from me talking, and I want you all to stand up and push in your chair.
You roll around on the floor,
present
some
lady
students do.
have
Get up under the table.
Give yourself, I mean, I know there's not much space. Give yourself a little bit of space.
Movement break.
I don't want anybody to fall.
Little bird going to
Okay.
labor.
Does anybody know what this is before we even start?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, look, don't do it. Don't do it.
Okay.
Don't worry, Anna.
Okay? So if you know, it's okay. Now, close your eyes. Okay? Now we're going to do a burpee, okay? So first, you're going to do this.
Eyes are closed.
And then you're going to do this. And then this. And this. And this. All right? Go ahead, open your eyes. I want you to go ahead and do that now for me.
What I heard.
Oh, we heard
She's got some.
Way to go. Hey, nice job. Okay, so I have one excellent student. The rest of you, you have a lot of work to do, and I don't know how I'm going to do it. That was ridiculous. Okay? Now, that's kind of what happens in our minds, like with our students. You tell them to do something, or you try to explain something to them, and they're like, they have no idea what you're talking about. I know that you all have 2 or 3 students in your mind right now that they just have no idea, right? I mean, I know I have a handful myself. So a burpee is an exercise where it's like a squat thrust, if you know what a squat thrust is. If not, you get down in push-up position, you put your legs back, you do a push-up, back up, legs in, and then you jump. So that's a burpee.
Okay.
So you can understand that when you have your eyes closed, they have no idea what I'm talking about. Okay, obviously your students aren't sitting there with their eyes closed the whole time, but in their brain they have no idea what you're talking about. Okay? Yeah, go ahead, Ms. Bradshaw. You're the first one to try. Okay. All right, you can go ahead and take a seat again. Thank you. So again, to make this easier for students, instead of just asking them questions and to do stuff that we want them to do, we're going to talk about some ways that we can actually help them comprehend what we're reading. Okay, I'm trying to get a video up here. And this is just a fun little video. Some of you may have seen it already, but I really love it. Sorry, I'm waiting for it to load real quick. Sorry, it's restarted real quick. I don't know where the problems.
Would you mind putting in the work order for them to come and tighten the leg again?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, here we go. No.
Oh, dear Jesus in heaven.
All right, here we go. Has anybody seen this video before?
Yes.
Yes.
You know what? Oh, Jesus. Oh, God.
Okay, here's your homework. Certain directions. What form takeaway 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Takeaway. What's 6 takeaway 1? 1. You take away, so you take away 1 out of 6. How much does it equal?
Oh, I I know his name.
Ten minus one. I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nope. Take away 1. Which is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
He's not supervising.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 and 1 more. And add 1 more. How many equals? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 equals, it makes 9. See how you take away? Take away 1. And it equals 1. Do you get it now? No. Yes.
These are the girls that were actually like the voices.
3. Yes. Good job.
Cute kids.
Doesn't it feel like sometimes you're trying to teach your kids something and that's like, they have no idea, right? So that's kind of what it feels like sometimes for me. I know for me, like we'll ask them questions about the book and they'll answer about something, awesome. They'll answer questions about something completely like out of this world. They're like, I have to go to the bathroom. Like they're not engaged, they have no idea what we're doing. So we're gonna do a few activities right now. So before I start doing stuff, I'm gonna kind of group us up a little bit if we can. So if I could have Ms. Bradshaw put over to pre-K. I want pre-K in kindergarten 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5th grade with Ms. Nowak. If you want to join 5th grade, that way we can try and make the groups a little bit more even. Okay, so let's go ahead and if you can sit with them, that'd be great. Because they're going to be doing stuff at the table together. And no, I had you this what's a special, so you go 5th grade.
I get no one. Oh, how much fun!
Where do we go?
Pre-K with kindergarten, 1st grade with 2nd grade, 3rd grade with 4th grade, and then 5th grade with specials and Ms. Nowak.
Yep.
Well, they're carrying their,
They're taking stuff.
they're taking their, shapes.
Where's your wearing? It's really cute. We're here. Sure.
Alright, so this first activity that we're going to talk about, what we're really trying to do is make comprehension concrete and visible, and that's really hard because you can try and describe comprehension, but how to make it visible is something that's kind of hard to do in the classroom. So I'm going to show you an example of how we can do that. I'm going to read a first, well, it's a kindergarten book. Anyone know Junie B? Okay, I love Junie B. My kids love Junie B. So I'm going to read from here part of a chapter from Junie B. And I'll just show you what we're going to be talking about, okay? Now it's supposed to be like a salad bowl. Okay? So I have green strips for the
Lettuce,
and the red for the
tomatoes, or
Yes.
red peppers.
Absolutely. Red peppers, I'm with that. I don't like tomatoes. So when I'm reading this, okay, I've got thinking and I've got reading. Okay? So when I'm going through the book and I maybe you read a paragraph or you just read something that makes you think about something else. Okay? I'm going to place this in the bowl, okay? And then if I'm just reading something, I'm not really thinking too much about it, I'll put the reading in there, okay?
Addie.
Go.
Come here, Ann.
Come here.
Okay, so I'm just going to show you an example of how you want to do this as a whole group, okay? And you just listen to the book. Lucille's daddy clapped his loud hands together. Boys and girls, please find a seat at one of the picnic tables. Lunch will be served shortly, he called. So right now I'm thinking about a time when, I've eaten lunch at a picnic table on field trips. Okay, so I'm gonna put that in there. I waited to see where Sheldon was going to sit. May waited too. because both of us had to keep track of that guy, of course. Only too bad for me, because as soon as Sheldon picked the table, Lucille sat down right next to him. Okay, right now I'm just reading, so I'm just going to put, that was a good passage, I'm going to put the red in there. And Varun, May slid in on his other side, and I got shut out. Wait, hold it, not fair, I said. Then I tried to squeeze myself between May and Sheldon, but May would not budge herself. Now I'm thinking right now as a teacher, and you could all do the same thing when your kids go to lunch and they fight over who's sitting to who. Okay, so right now I'm thinking about that. Yeah, fighting about it. I did a grr face at her. May hissed like a snake, and I stood there very puzzled. I do not actually have a comeback for a hiss. Okay, right now I'm just reading. Finally, I went to the other side of the table, and I sat down across from them. That dumb May, I grumped to adjust myself. She keeps getting one step ahead of me today. Plus, Sheldon is one step ahead of me, too. Right now, I'm just reading. I looked across the table, and Lucille was whispering to Sheldon very secret. I just think of all the times that, you know, when you were in school, people whispering secrets, and you don't know what they're saying. May leaned her head over, and she listened through Sheldon's other ear. Whispers can come right through Sheldon's head, apparently. I put my chin in my hands. I don't stand a chance in this stupid egg hunt, I said to Herb. Okay? I've been to an egg hunt about 1 million times, and I remember thinking to myself, I'm never going to get the eggs.
Yes.
I'm not going to get the most. He gave me a little pat. Sometimes a little pat is all a friend can do. You've seen that in your class. Only guess what? Just then something very nice happened. It's called Lucille's Nana walked over to where I was sitting, and she sat in a chair at the end of my table. I jumped up real thrilled. Nana, Nana, look, look! It's me, it's Junie B. Jones, and you are sitting right exactly next to me, I shouted. That makes me think of all the times, you know, the past few years where you have parents coming into the room, or into the cafeteria, and they all have to jump right at them. Okay? So you can, I'm going to stop right there. You can see how I use this as an example to show my kids. What am I doing a lot more of? Can you see it in there? Thinking. You're doing a lot more thinking. Okay, you're making those connections to what you're reading, and that really kind of helps the kids visualize and see that you're thinking about what you're reading. Okay, so that's a really good way to show comprehension. You can do this whole group, you can do this small group, however you want. Now I'm going to give you guys a chance to do that right now. I'm going to give each of you, or each of your tables a bowl, and I'm going to give some of you just a grade level book. Okay, and then you can just read from that book, and if someone wants to act as the teacher, they can do that, and maybe you can just tell them, you know, you're thinking of this, and they can put that in there. And you can do that, you know, I was reading it just not to myself, and I was telling you what I was thinking. If you're doing a whole group, you could even say, you know, someone tell me what they're thinking about after you read to a certain point, and they could do that. Okay. Daddy, come here. Go put this at that table of Miss Watkins, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Sheldon. Thank you so much. We have some lettuce and...
Do we get a book too, Daddy?
Bring us an easy one, darling.
I put my books over.
Right, really do that. Right there.
Good thing we have
We'll take the first one. No, we don't want that one.
Oh, okay. We can switch grade levels, sure. Sure, we'll just go to whatever grade level you feel like.
Okay, we're just gonna do.
I'll give you two just in case.
Actually, it's called
Cold soccer facts, that's the best you could do.
That is the
Look at that.
What do you
That's
think of?
science.
I don't like football.
I didn't think I just Watkins said.
Okay, I love to play.
All right, so go ahead. Like I said, act this out as a teacher to your students, or however you want to do this.
I play it with my friends.
Have you ever seen No,
No.
for them.
Oh no, doesn't tell me. I'll stop them.
Okay.
These are the common ones.
I love the way they turn now. You heard about that Sheldon because maybe your neighbor is getting away kid. You want tap?
Butterflies sometimes have different names in different places. This butterfly is known as a monarch in the United States. It's originally well, the United States reminds me of where we live in the
I run that ball to home
Thinking about 80 years in some other parts parts of the world, such as Australia, is called the monarch. I'm thinking I didn't know the monarch is also known as the milkweed butterfly because its caterpillars feed on plants and the milkweed family.
Make sure you're putting them back where you got them.